Hello, true believers, and welcome back to another edition of BK's Bullets. I'm sure many of you have seen Brent's final thoughts on the Hawkeye Disney Plus television show, but I didn't know what he was going to say going into the last episode, and I actually think I might have watched it before him, which would be a first. But I wanted to give you guys a slightly different perspective on the Hawkeye show. All of them combined, not a episode by episode recap, but just kind of how does it fit in my opinion of the Marvel universe and what does this mean for maybe Disney Plus content going forward. So without further ado, hit that intro. Before we get started, you guys know what you need to do, and that's subscribe to Brent's channel. He's putting out some awesome content, like that really cool comic book he found at a comic book store from like 1993 or something, some old weird Batman comic or Joker. I don't know what it was. It looked really cool. But there's a lot of good stuff on there, so make sure you stay tuned, okay? So subscribe. It's very simple, and I'm sure he would appreciate it. I know I appreciate it because it bolsters my ego when I do a video and I see his subscriber count rise by the tens. Unlike Brent, I actually did like Hawkeye all the way through. Yes, not every single moment was a home run. I can't honestly think of any television show that I have seen in the last 10 years where every single moment and every single scene was a home run. I definitely did not think it was a snooze fest or a bore or a drag. I enjoyed it for what it was. To me, Hawkeye has always been kind of the black sheep of the Avengers, and I don't think that's a hot take, right? I think we can all collectively agree that Hawkeye, at least in the Avengers show, the movies, the series of movies, the universe, whatever, he never really got a lot of love. Yes, he had his action sequences. Yes, there were little things that he did that was neat. They did, thankfully, towards the end of the last major Avengers movie, they did focus on his relationship to Natasha, and I feel like it was in those moments is where this show culminated. And who knows? Maybe they said, "Hey, Hawkeye, the real actor Jeremy, listen, we promised you a show. We're going to give you one." I don't know the specifics. Whatever the reason, it's here, and Disney felt this was a story to tell. And I think it went well. It did provide, I think, some closure to the character in a way that maybe the movies didn't really allow him to have closure. And it did tie up a couple loose ends, and it introduced us kind of to the future wave of Avengers, or of at least the Hawkeye mantle, so to speak, to kind of progress the lineage. Now, whether or not they actually pursue that or not is a different story. My understanding is with the Captain America series, with Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I think Falcon is actually going to get his own new Captain America movie. I think that's what's happening, or it's in pre-production or whatever. So there comes a point in just the overall Avengers universe and timeline where the current Avengers get old or tired or don't want to do it anymore or get written out of the show or whatever. And you need to have the next generation. Does this ultimately lead to a massive movie career similar to how Avengers had all of the individual movies that tied into a grand finale? I don't know. I mean, that remains to be seen. I don't know what phase we're on in the Marvel universe, but whatever it is, rest assured there will be more TV shows, there will be more adventures, there will be more movies, comic books, whatever. So there has to be at some point, if we are going to continue this universe and we're not just going to stop it in its tracks, like I have said many times, it's time to let it go. Kill off this universe and reset. Let's go in a different storyline, but they don't want to do that. They want to continue down this path. That's fine. You're going to get shows like this. This has to happen because at some point we have to say that the original Hawkeye is old and tired and weak. He's had some sort of changing of the guard, the passing of the mantle onto the next generation of Hawkeye, or the role that he is going to, or in this case, she is going to fill, and the adventure continues on. So that's what this is trying to do, at least in my opinion, is just to say, look, we're kind of slowly shifting through it. We've already seen we have a replacement for Captain America. We've already seen we have a replacement for Hawkeye. In a sense, you could argue that maybe Loki was a replacement for Thor, although he's up to his own shenanigans. So if you kind of just look at like a tick box of like all the roles that need to be filled, we're going down and we're reassembling the Avengers 2.0, and this is just the next in line. So for that, I think it was serviceable and it did good. Yes, it was a lot of nonsense. Yes, the actual story was, as most stories go, a kind of big misunderstanding. And if you really look at the final scene, the final resolution, the final ending of everything, what really happened here? It was a big misunderstanding in which somebody uncovered this evil Ronin suit back when Hawkeye was a bad guy and murdering people for whatever reason. There was a misunderstanding that triggered a bunch of old feelings and memories, which slowly percolated over 6 episodes into the bigger and bigger and bigger bads, until finally the true big bad was revealed to be Kingpin, of all people. Which, okay, I like Kingpin. I watched Daredevil, I think as most people did. I don't remember the name of the actor, but I think he was great. Sure, let's have Kingpin in there. He'll be the big bad. Because when we defeat Kingpin, then suddenly, I guess, everything else falls in line. And that's kind of what happened, which is a little weird. But it was a satisfying ending. All of the nonsense that we saw over the 6 episodes, you could call it filler, really was set up. And it all fit into place very, very well at the end. The weird LARPing group actually had a role to play. And Yelena coming back and kind of befriending Kate had a role to play. And Hawkeye finally had his moment with Yelena, why they waited so long. And in this particular circumstance, whatever, they did. They kind of resolved their piece. Kate resolved her piece with her potential stepfather, Jack, who to me was the star of the show. He was a very creepy but caring guy, and at the end turns out to be quite the swordsman. Maybe a little love connection there with that female LARPer at the end remains to be seen. But if you look across the board, everything that happened, it did all fit in very well. And I struggle to think about the finale. Were there any loose ends? And not really. We found out who Armand's killer was, and we found out what the importance of the Rolex watch was, and we got the name for the dog. Should have been Hawkeye, but it was Lucky. You look at all these things, and even the villains themselves, some of them got closure as well in a different way, which was rewarding. So, okay, I'm on board. I mean, was it a huge investment? No, some of the episodes were incredibly short, I thought. Yes, we did go down a long, winding road to get here, but at the end, all's well that ends well. Another mystery solved. Hawkeye, the real Hawkeye, the male version, finally gets closure. Did maybe Yelena get closure? We kind of wrote her in the Black Widow, and we kind of just wrote her back out. Or, going back to my original theory at the beginning of this video, maybe Yelena will be the new Black Widow. And if you're checking off your tick boxes, I think all we need left is a new Iron Man, and we need some sort of Incredible Hulk. And we're set. And we have the new Avengers, the Gen 2 Avengers, who learned from the mistakes of the former Avengers and vow to be better and stronger and better and cleaner and healthier and all these wonderful things. Is that where we're going? I don't know. But it didn't really just resonate of doom and despair. And I think that's the reason I wanted to do this video. And then I saw Brent's video and I was like, well, oh well, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm already down the road to record and upload this. And it's done. So I'm glad Brent liked it at the end. I'm glad he saw a little bit of redemption in this. Maybe in a way, Brent's redemption of liking this and not hating everything blindly. I know he's getting mad watching this. I love you, buddy. Maybe in the same way, all these other Avengers are letting the hate go, and Captain America, well, the new Captain America is learning to be a better Captain America, and the new Hawkeye has resolved her daddy issues, and she's going to be a better Hawkeye, and Yelena is going to be better than Natasha, and I don't know. you figure it out. I'm not the comic book super nerd here. I'm just somebody who's a big fan of archers in general because, as you know, I absolutely adored Arrow, and that to me is the true archer. I don't know historically which one came first, it doesn't matter. But overall, when you look at everything, I think Hawkeye was very serviceable to the brand. It had that goofy Marvel zaniness. It had plenty of action when it needed to have action. It had a little mystery, a little intrigue, some humor, some despair. We got some closure, and most importantly, and I'll close out with this. I don't really remember Brent specifically talking about this. We got a lot of cussing. I don't mind that. In my personal life, I cuss quite a bit, and I probably shouldn't as much as I do, but I do. So when I saw that this show had the L tag, in the corner, L for language, I was like, oh wow, like we don't really see that. You might get the occasional like ass or damn inside of a Marvel movie, but this one pushed the envelope a little bit further than other Marvel movies that I have seen. And I don't really know what the reason behind that was. I don't know. It didn't really serve much in the way of mature content. It was just a weird departure, I think, from kind of what we've seen in the past. I don't know if that means anything in the greater scheme of things. I would be curious for other people watching my thoughts on this. Did you notice the language and did it bother you? Did it enhance the experience? Not, or were you just like, oh, I didn't even notice? I thought it was a very interesting take that they chose to go down that route because there were quite a bit of S bombs towards the end, and don't really know if they needed to be there, but they were. So I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think the way they ended it with the musical, the entire musical, without any interruption, was fascinating. Roger's a musical. You have a place in my heart. It was funny. It was zany, and we all just laughed. Everything came together at the end just the way it should, and I still have confidence. I still maintain my original video, and I'll post a link to that in the description below about terminating the MCU and how we've really run out of things. But maybe I'm coming around on that. Maybe now with the MCU kind of giving us the Gen 2 heroes, maybe there's a chance that they can go off on their own and have a buddy movie and do something of their own. I mean, I feel like these are all household names for Marvel fans now. We've seen their plight. We've seen Kate grow as a character. Clearly, she knows how to fight, even against Kingpin. Well, however she learned how to do it, she's there. So give her a shot. Give them all a shot. Put them in a movie. I mean, there's not really a lot going on right now. Like, do it, right? That'll wrap up today's video thoughts for you guys. I hope you found this interesting and fun, and it makes you think a little bit. Don't fall into the dark side like Brent. Don't hate everything. It's okay to love and be happy and enjoy the cheesy campiness that is Hawkeye and is Marvel. That's it. You know the drill. Comment, rate, subscribe, and until next time, I will see you guys in the funny pages.